Right now at noon, President Trump says he's waiting for a call from China as threats of retaliatory tariffs escalate, the potential impact to American farmers and their message to the president. Plus, the Supreme Court makes a major decision on President Trump's immigration policies, what it means for migrants moving forward. This is News 3 Now at noon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Josh Spreiter. Right now, threats of retaliatory tariffs are escalating between the U.S. and China. This is happening less than 24 hours until President Trump's new reciprocal tariffs take effect. As Natalie Brand reports from the White House, some lawmakers are now demanding answers about the president's trade policy.
President Trump says he's waiting for China's call. On social media this morning, he wrote China wants to make a deal badly, but they don't know how to get it started. Comes after his threat Monday to ratchet up tariffs on China by an additional 50% unless Beijing withdraws threats of a retaliatory tariff against the U.S.
I have a great relationship with President Xi. I hope it's going to stay that way. I have great respect for China, but they can't do this with just... We're going to have one shot at this.
China said overnight pressure and threats are not the right way to make a deal, adding if the U.S. insists on engaging in a tariff and trade war, China will fight to the end.
My message is negotiate this as quickly as possible.
Bob Hemisoth is a fifth-generation corn and hog farmer in Iowa.
How important is China to you?
Well, China's always been a good trade partner for agriculture. My concern, wondering if that market's going to continue to stay there. Whenever we get in these kind of situations, these trade wars, as we saw in the last one in 2018, China looks elsewhere for those products.
The Trump administration has said it's open to negotiating. The president's trade representative is on Capitol Hill trying to ease concerns from lawmakers of both parties.
Tariffs are used. We all know agriculture is usually the first place of retaliation.
Trade Representative Jamison Greer says the new tariffs are already bearing fruit.
Nearly 50 countries have approached me personally to discuss the president's new policy and explore how to achieve reciprocity.
Zimbabwe has also said it would scrap tariffs on U.S. goods, and the EU has said it will eliminate tariffs on industrial goods and cars if the United States does the same. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Some senators objected to tariffs placed on friendly trade partners such as Australia, which the U.S. has a trade surplus with. Trade Representative Greer says the president has made it clear there will be no exceptions. More local news now. We now know the name of the victim in a deadly shooting in Evansville over the weekend. 14-year-old Florencia Henthorne died following the shooting on Sunday. It happened on South Madison Avenue. A GoFundMe has been set up to help the family pay for funeral expenses. So far, it has raised more than $6,000 with a goal of $10,000. If you'd like to help, we have a link to the GoFundMe on channel3000.com. UW-Madison says several of its current and former international students had their visas terminated. This generally means the individual must leave the U.S. immediately. As of yesterday, 6 students and 7 alumni on employment extension are impacted. UW-Madison says it does not play a role in the terminations. The university does not believe the terminations are related to any free speech events or political activity. The exact reason for the termination is unknown. The Supreme Court is allowing deportation proceedings under the Alien Enemies Act for now, but it comes with stipulations. The 5-4 ruling throws out a U.S. district judge's order against the deportations. One of the conservative judges, Amy Coney Barrett, sided with 3 liberal justices in dissenting. President Trump says on social media it's, quote, a great day for justice. The Supreme Court says the men involved in the case can challenge the use of the Alien Enemies Act. They just have to do so in the district where they're detained. This comes after ICE sent alleged Venezuelan gang members to an El Salvador prison while legal challenges were still playing out. Former state Supreme Court Justice Michael Gableman has agreed to surrender his law license. This is in order to settle multiple misconduct violations. Gableman spread election conspiracies and led an investigation into President Trump's 2020 loss. The State Office of Lawyer Regulation filed a 10-count complaint in November against him. That complaint accused him of misconduct during the loss investigation. Gableman says in the filing that the complaint provide, quote, an adequate factual basis and that he couldn't defend himself against the allegations. The Supreme Court has the ability to revoke his license, but they rarely do so in cases like this. The Madison School District is once again without internet today. This is the district's second day in a row with unstable internet. According to the district, the Technical Services Department is working with its vendors to address the issue and identify the cause of the outage. Classes are continuing as scheduled. It is unclear when the outage will be resolved. The Dodgeville School District is set to let go 13 staff members and reduce programs after its referendum failed. Dodgeville's superintendent tells News 3 Now he understands the no votes at the ballot box, but he says without permission to raise the tax levy, they have to cut elective courses, extracurriculars, and staff members. This will leave teachers with an extra 4 to 5 students.
Pinching back on resurfacing gym floors. We're pinching back on resurfacing parking lots. We've got a roof that's got a leak in it. We're going to be a different school district because we're going to have to make cuts, but we absolutely refuse to not educate our students.
2012 was the last time an operational referendum passed in Dodgeville. The superintendent says the district will have no choice but to go back to a referendum in 2026. There have been more than 200 operating referenda on Wisconsin ballots since the beginning of 2024. That accounts for about half of Wisconsin's 421 districts. Staying cooler for now. First Floor meteorologist Jacob Montesano has your certified most accurate forecast. Hi, Jacob.
Hey Josh, very bright out here, and despite the fact that temperatures are pretty cold, with the sun shining and the very little wind, it doesn't feel bad out here at all. Let's take a look at the current conditions. Right now in the 30s for the most part, a few areas getting close to 40, but earlier this morning we had temperatures dropping into the teens, and further north they even got close to the single digits. So definitely a very cold morning in southern Wisconsin. We were closer to the record low than we were to the average low this morning. Now, as we take a look at the current radar, we're not seeing anything, and as I look up, there's not even a cloud in the sky right here. And we also are dealing with calm winds, which is why it feels a lot better out here than what the temperatures say. Now, throughout the afternoon, we'll see them rise into the middle and lower 40s, so a little bit better compared to yesterday, but it's going to feel a lot better because we're not going to be seeing any wind throughout the afternoon. Now, we will see clouds develop overnight, and that will help keep the temperatures a little bit on the milder side, at least compared to this morning. The temperatures tonight will be pretty close to normal in terms of the average lows, as they'll drop into the middle and lower 30s. But these clouds will then bring precipitation for your Wednesday, some in the form of rain and unfortunately, yes, some in the form of snow. Not quite done with that yet. I'll talk through the forecast on that coming up a bit later, but trust me, we are going to warm up eventually.
Oh my gosh, we just can't get over that snow.
No, it just keeps coming.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Well, happening today, Meriter nurses will hold a strike-ready rally to demand improved safety and security. Nurses will be joined by Senator Kelda Roys along with community and labor allies. They'll highlight their ongoing union contract negotiations. They demand practices to protect workers and patients, patient ratios, and wage increases to promote retention. Wisconsin is experiencing a shortage in healthcare workers with growing demand for care. Healthcare agencies were hit hard during COVID, resulting in high turnover and vacancy rates. Now the Wisconsin workforce has seen an upward turn with a rise in employment going into 2023. But health officials say it's not enough to meet a growing demand for care as the baby boom generation continues to get older.
As much as it's about recruitment, it's also about retention. So we talked a little bit about, the burnout trends and everything that we're seeing and the stress on the workforce earlier. It's absolutely also monitoring turnover and how are we retaining and how are we working to keep the staff that we have and really listening to their needs.
UW Health also offers apprenticeship programs and currently employs more than 350 of them to fight those healthcare shortages. Still ahead for us this afternoon, what Realtor.com is saying about the numbers of homes on the market, plus Easter less than 2 weeks away, what people think is the most popular sweet treat for the holiday.
You're watching News 3 Now at noon.
If you're looking to buy a home this spring, Realtor.com finds the number of homes on the market is up from a year ago, surging 28.5% last month. Listings jumped between 44% and 68% in large metro areas, including Atlanta, Las Vegas, and Washington, D.C. And with Easter less than 2 weeks away, Instacart has published its 2025 Easter report, revealing the most popular sweet treats customers ordered for celebrations last year. Reese's took the top 2 spots with its peanut butter eggs and cups. In third place, Cadbury's chocolate mini eggs. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Jesse Mitchell.
Here's the stock report at the noon hour. The Dow is up 397 points, NASDAQ up 61, and the S&P 500 up this hour 51. Our call for action volunteers are in the building taking your consumer complaints and taking action on your behalf. Call for action at 608-270-2833 or submit a claim anytime at channel3000.com/call for action. Pam Yockey's back with today's farm numbers ahead, and Jacob returns with the first warn forecast. Then later on Live at 4, Dr. Jeff Potoff on the link between a lack of deep sleep and Alzheimer's disease. Welcome back. Let's check in now with Pam Yockey from the Midwest Farm Report. Hi, Pam.
Hello there, Josh. Yeah, I'm with you. I love the sunshine, but I need the heat here pretty soon. Up north, still snow patches that are remaining on my lawn before the draft, so we got to get that out of there. Today, we're talking a little bit about some congratulations, and we don't have to go too very far for the person of interest. Sauk County, as a matter of fact, Roger Bindle from RB Farms in Sauk County has been named the Wisconsin Land and Water 2025 Conservation Farm Family of the Year. He started on his own back in 2010, renting his grandfather's farm, 289 acres, and now he's rotationally grazing that with 45 cow-calf pairs. His solo farming operation also immediately put in place no-till practices to keep soil in place. After that, he started incorporating cover crops into his rotation of corn, soybeans, alfalfa, and forages for his 45 cow-calf pairs. He is right in the Honey Creek watershed, so he is very conscientious about how he's using his land and stewardshiping all those resources to stay resilient. Again, congratulations, Roger Bindle from RB Farms in Sauk County, named the Wisconsin Land and Water 2025 Conservation Farm Family of the Year. Way to go. Now, let's talk a little bit about the first of the season's crop progress report. As you can imagine, in Wisconsin, we don't have much crop progress, but it does give us a little sense on how we're starting with soil moistures, which, if you get outside of Wisconsin, are still a big deal. I was talking with ag marketer this morning, and he said right now there's a 60% probability that there is going to be a national drought that will impact production. They're already forecasting that according to models. Here in Wisconsin, we're looking good. 62% of our topsoil moisture is called adequate. 57% of our subsoil moisture is called adequate. That's not unusual. 1% of our oats already planted as of Sunday. 2% of our spring tillage work already done as of Sunday. So some eager beavers out there that are already going to work. Boy, big rally today, Josh, on dairy. Barrel cheese gained 7.5 cents to 175.5. 40-pound block cheese up 3 1/4 at 170 1/4. Double A butter up a penny at 2.31 a pound. And my gut tells me the reason that we saw such a bump on dairy product prices and fluid milk is up about 30 cents right now is the announcement that you led into me with earlier, and that's the possibility that Mexico will not be battling back against us with reciprocal tariffs. It's a major market for U.S. dairy as well as our U.S. commodities as a whole.
Yeah, that roller coaster continues day after day. You never know what you're going to expect these days, Pam.
Keeps me busy.
Yes, it does. We like to keep you busy. It keeps you out of trouble, right?
Yes, that's right. That's right.
All right, Farm
buddy,
Babe.
We'll see you later. Have a good one.
We'll see you later. The cooler weather continues with maybe some snow on the way. I hate those words in April. First, Warm meteorologist Jacob Montesano has the forecast. Hi, Jacob.
Hey, Josh. We just can't seem to escape that 4-letter S word, and it's going to be back tomorrow, at least for parts of the area. Now, overall cool temperatures, they are going to continue as we head through Thursday. Rain snow mix, especially for Wednesday. May see some light precipitation, though, continue beyond that. The good news is that by the weekend, we are going to see 60s. So for this afternoon, temperatures will be in the upper 30s to lower 40s. So definitely on the chillier side, but like I mentioned, as I stepped out earlier, it definitely doesn't feel too bad out there with the sun shining and there being pretty much no wind. Now for tomorrow, actual temperatures may be a little bit warmer, but it's probably going to feel a little cooler as we are going to see some breezy weather, and obviously we'll see that cloud cover with the precipitation. So let's take a look at the precipitation forecast. We'll see clouds really develop in the evening and overnight, and that's going to continue throughout the night and into Wednesday morning. Now once we get to Wednesday morning, that's when some light precipitation will begin moving into our area. Some in the form of rain, some in the form of snow, but we'll see more consistent precipitation in the afternoon, starting out as rain and then transitioning into snowfall, especially for Madison and areas to the east, and places closer to Lake Michigan may actually see a little bit of accumulation, more than just, that half inch that we can often see from these brief snow showers. Now, further off to the west, the rain will likely come to an end before it transitions to snow, so areas closer to the Mississippi River not likely to see this snowfall. But Madison and areas east will see that through the evening. The consistent precipitation will clear out early Wednesday night and later in the night Wednesday, and really throughout the day on Thursday. We're going to see isolated light showers with a few flurries still possible, but it mostly will be in the form of rain, and it's not going to be as heavy as it will be on Wednesday. But the light precipitation may continue into Thursday night as well, but it really looks like once we get to Friday morning, we'll start to see some clearer skies, maybe a few clouds here and there, but for the most part, it looks like it will be dry once we get to sunrise Friday. Now, looking at the snowfall accumulation forecast, we're really only expecting some accumulation for Madison and areas east, and even for Madison, we're only going to see about a half inch at most, but as I talked about, possibly an inch or two as you get closer to the lake near Milwaukee and in the southeastern portion of Wisconsin. Now, beyond that, we're not really expecting much in the form of precipitation, especially to end the week. Might see some rain on Sunday, but right now it doesn't look like it's going to be much, and we may see that continue for Monday. The big story for the weekend will be the temperatures. But before I talk about that, I do want to point out that this Thursday is the statewide tornado drill. It would get postponed if we have severe weather, but as you saw, just some light precipitation, likely not going to see the severe weather. So definitely just be aware that we have two statewide tornado tests, one at 1:45 and one at 6:45. Now, here's a full look at the 7 to 10 day forecast. Very nice weather is expected for the weekend. 60s are in the forecast. Those showers you see Sunday, though, likely not going to impact any outdoor plans that you may want to have with temperatures in the 60s. Maybe just keep an eye on the radar, plan around it. Overall, it's not going to be raining all day for sure. Monday, also going to be nice with a small chance of rain. Might cool down after that, but we're talking about highs in the 50s for the middle of next week compared to the 40s right now. So that's about 10 degrees warmer. So definitely
we're on the up.
Yeah, we definitely are. We might finally start to see these consistent temperatures at the bare minimum in the 50s starting Friday.
All right, Jacob, that's good news. Thank you. Well, today Howard's preparing a dessert for your Easter dinner in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
When you serve today's recipe on Easter, don't be surprised if your guests are taking pictures and posting them online. It's that picture perfect. Every year during the week before Easter, we share some outrageous dessert recipe that we think will be the talk of the table. And this year is no exception. And what we love about the one this year is that it's not just for Easter. It's worthy of being served all year long. It's a strawberry lemonade cake, and here's how easy it is. We start by combining a box of lemon cake mix with strawberry gelatin, a few eggs, some vegetable oil, water, and a package of frozen sliced strawberries that we've thawed. After this is mixed, we pour the batter into a couple of cake pans and into the oven they go. While they bake, we throw together a lemonade frosting by beating together some powdered sugar with butter, along with some lemon juice and lemon zest. Once the cakes have cooled completely, all that's left to do is frost them. Can you imagine this as the centerpiece of your dessert table? And let me assure you, this isn't one of those cakes that just looks pretty. It tastes amazing too. It's just the right amount of sweet and tart, plus it's super moist. You can get the recipe for our strawberry lemonade cake by visiting our website. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a very sweet way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Here's Jacob with the final check of the forecast.
Thanks, Josh. We'll be sunny but cool throughout the afternoon, and then we are going to see that rain-snow mix for your Wednesday. Highs will be in the 40s through Thursday. Some light precipitation may continue through Thursday, but we'll see more consistent rain on Wednesday. Friday and Saturday will be warmer and dry, continuing to be warmer for early next week with a small chance of some rain.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Thanks for joining us. We're back with more on Live at 4.